Hey y'all, so today we're gonna do something a little different. Well, not really crazy different, but just a little more different than normal. We're gonna do something I haven't actually done with this well, I've done it with the X32, I just haven't done it on this specific one. We're gonna ring out some channels. So this is going to be how to ring out monitors, how to ring out that kind of stuff. So the way we're going to do it in this video is we're going to do it from our main LR. You can do it from the mic or whatever, but I just like to do it from, well, actually, in this video we're just, for all practical purposes, because I just now thought, wait, hang on. But yeah, so in these videos, always go with the last thing that I said on something. Like if I say something like just now, if I said we're gonna do it from our LR, and then I actually change my mind to doing it on the actual channel, there's a reason. So to always go with the last thing that I said. So we're gonna use something that we learned in a previous video, gain staging. So if you guys watched the gain staging video, the first one that we did on this, then you should be pretty familiar. So we're going to gain stage this vocal mic real quick. You can go over to your configure, you can solo it. We're going to solo it and do both so you guys can see it really good. So we're going to watch right here. Once again, we're just going to gain it up, gain it up, gain it up. Last time I remember it was like 37, something like that. And there we go. So now that we have that, now let's get on with the actual point of this video. I'm going to try to set this mic up here over by the speaker so we can focus more on here. So I'm going to have my hand over here doing this stuff over here, but you can see what I'm doing here. Probably not as quick though. So now we're going to start pulling this up real quickly. Probably gonna hear, hey, 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 hey. Yep, now we got some feedback. Probably saw that little red. Yep, we can see that red there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our high, nope, or low, we'll move it up here, just like that. And this one's staying pretty stable. We're gonna do a pretty slim Q. I'm gonna pull that down. And you can see almost immediately, it's gone. It's gone. It's poof, right out of here. So now we're going to pull up our face more. Okay, it's still a little aggressive. I'm going to gain that down a little more and widen our Q. Just pull that back just a little bit. That one was at like, what, 200? Almost exactly on the dot. So we're going to keep pulling this up. Okay, now we've got a little higher. Okay. Now we're going to go up to 3. Try to get to do it again. So you can find it. There we go. So it's like right there at it. So now we're going to gain it down. Do a pretty tight Q. Actually, let's widen this Q a little bit. Move this up. So we can keep going. Okay. Now we've got a little more down there. And so what we're going to do now is go down here and move this kind of in between the two and widen our Q and pull our gain down just a little bit. And now we can keep going. Okay. It's still right there. So we're going to widen this. Okay. You really want to be really careful. You don't want to just go at it, right off the bat and just hit. So now we're going to go back up to our high mid. Pull this down just a little more. Go a little higher. And widen that Q just a little more. And so now, hey, 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 hey. Testing, 1, 2, check 1, 2. You can hear, still a little bit. Actually, let's take all this off. So we can keep going. Let's just see how much harder we can get this. And really, we're in a pretty good spot, I would say. Mute it real quick. Our fader's a little above unity. And for this demo, that's very good. Like, that is, for what we're doing here, the mic being pointed right at the monitor, I would say this is pretty good. In comparison to what we had before. And you may not even need to go that high with it. So now we're going to get our mic. So now, pull it down just a little bit. And you can see, I've got the sound coming right at me. Like, the mic is like right here. Here, I'll even show you. Look. The mic is right here. The mic is right here. And until I point it right at it, there's no feedback. So, and like I said, the mic is like, I'm sitting right in front of the speaker. Now, if we, let's go to, so you can see our output here. I don't know if you can see it really well. Here we go. Y'all can see that pretty good. So now we'll pull this down, turn off our EQ, and let's see how high up we get now. So we start talking more, and more, and you can hear, we get pretty high. But now we'll turn our EQ back on. Now let's try it. Hey, testing 1, 2. We can go a lot higher before we start getting some feedback. So now we probably won't need to go that high, but for the purposes of this video, y'all get the gist of why it's so important. And we didn't lose a whole lot of mic quality. So, and that's another thing with fighting feedback, is you will have to put up with, and it's really just a trade-off, is how hot can you get this signal while still having no feedback before you start degrading this actual quality of the microphone. So you do have to keep that in mind while you're doing it. So make sure you're not just focused on, let's get all this feedback out. You also have to keep in mind, you don't want to degrade the signal so much that you've taken all the life and all, So we could have done this a lot more aggressively, but we didn't, because we were still trying to preserve the actual sound of the mic. And you could see we got pretty good. And a lot of times you may not even get more volume. You may just be more free from feedback. So sometimes it's not even about getting more volume. You're just trying to keep the feedback at bay as best as you can. And in pro audio, live audio, you want to keep feedback in its den as much as possible. If you have done anything, you know that as soon as feedback starts, it is a nightmare trying to control it. And I, for one, I remember the first time I even sat behind a board, I was making sure everything was, like at church. I was making sure everything was all good. It was my first time. My the guy that was actually over me at the time, who still is. He's our AV director. He was over me. He was watching me, making sure I was good. He was out greeting people, and I was just making sure everything was good, And I went to go and mute my choir mics, and all of a sudden, feedback ensued. That's because we didn't really ring it out all that well, just because we never had a whole bunch of time to be able to do it, and our choir was all right. It wasn't, terrible. So we just never really had much of a reason to take a couple minutes to do it real quick. and we had just switched over to an X32. So, it really is worth it to just take the time real quick and ring out your monitors, ring out your front of house. But like I said, don't do it so much that you're degrading the quality. So, you really just, have to find the nice even ground. And right there, that's fine. That is totally fine. Um, that, like that, yeah. For our choir mics, I've taken like a fat chunk of the signal out, so we don't have to worry about it. The choir's still audible for our choir mics. We're trying to get good in the house, but also online. So, and that's the other reason is your online listeners, because there's not another EQ for this so you can't have an EQ for your front of house and an EQ for here. It's one EQ for this. So that's the other reason you have to find the even ground, so you don't have feedback, but you're also not degrading the signal too much. So that's one thing to keep in mind when you are trying to bring out your system of feedback. And this isn't just for the X32. This goes for any digital console with an RTA. As long as you can see it, it's a lot harder. There's an app that I recommend. It's called Spectroid. I'll put it down in the description. Go check that out. If you have a analog console and you can EQ pretty good on it, like you can use your mids to kind of scoop through, or you can use your graphic EQ to do it. You can use Spectroid, so it's an out of board EQ. So, but yeah, like I said, like I say in my other videos, I hope that you got something out of this. I hope that you learned something. I hope, yeah. So, if you have any questions, comments, feel free, put them in the comment section below. And yeah, with that, I hope you all have a great day. Peace.